All right, all right. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are. This is Paramay Trades with Paramay's Trade Journal. This is my own video trade speculating journal. So I'm not an advisor. This is just me looking at charts, trying to make some sense out of them, trying to find some safe trade entries or, safe trade entries plus market sentiment. Which direction is it going? Which way are we looking? And this is a study of the Euro FX, and we've run a couple of videos on this now, and so this is more of kind of an update of what our commitment traders are looking like right now, some pivots, some swings to try to find safe entries into these trades, and just a little bit of price action. So let's take a look at the Euro FX. The first thing I think we should do is just kind of peer in at the commitment of traders. So we did a Friday roundup, and we haven't shied away from this. We've been quite consistent with our position on the Euro FX for the last couple of weeks, and for good reason. 3 weeks ago, we saw a very handsome increase in net long positions, a very positive outlook for commitment of traders. And this is coming off a very bearish streak of a couple of weeks. Getting really bullish 3 weeks ago, setting a new high last week, and setting an even higher high for net long positions on the Euro FX. Very high. So we will change this number, but I did leave it at 151 for now. But we need to update the indicator and update the chart. 100 is the highest on the index that we want to see, and that's a new high. So when you see 100, you say, wow, this is extremely bullish or extremely positive. So it's not a crystal ball, but consistency and context here, I think, are king. So we just got done with the ZM chart. So we'll just, and we peeked in a little bit here at the euro. Now let's just get over to, the commitment of traders here on our daily, because this was amazing. I mean, if you really paid attention to the signals, if you really pay attention to the leading indicator here, the one that we look for the most, is CoT. So take all the other garbage, off the chart and just peer at that. Don't pay attention to the noise that's happening back here, and think that this, every single swing that's happening over here is going to affect your ultimate position when you have an indication like this. At some point in the game, you have to choose a side, and you've got to be brave enough to choose that side. And when you've got something like this going on from your commitment of traders, your big money, you got to decide to get into the ball game. WPR is oversold. Commitment of traders is moving up. We didn't get any help from open interest. If this was low, holy hell. I mean, if you've got diminishing open interest coupled with this kind of indication, that's your leading indicator right there. That's a no-brainer. I mean, how many indicators do you need to get into this trade? Broken ATR range, comms are bullish. You don't get a lot of help from open interest, but we don't always get help from open interest. Sometimes you do. We got help from WPR, and you got diminishing market sentiment. Like we had pointed out in the ZM chart, market sentiment is something a little bit new that we're working with, but we're starting to notice a relative pattern. When market sentiment's really high, you don't want to be in the same pool with all these people. Market sentiment's bottoming out here Think rally. Diminishing, is market sentiment, bottoming out here? Think rally. But that one, you already got a head start. So a lot like the helpfulness that we get from diminishing open interest is the time usually when we get that kind of help from commercial interest getting a little bit bullish. Diminishing open interest with rising commitment of traders, right? So we've got, let me see if I can find this. I mean, we printed this out a while ago. We print this out. We'll put it in here again. Where the hell is it? Ooh. We had the rules printed out somewhere so that we could look at it. But did I close this out? Hey, give me just a second to find this, and then maybe we can reiterate here. All right, there we go. We found it here. We found it. So hopefully we can get a good view at this here, right? Yeah, let's do it like this, right? So what we'd like to see for a bearish scenario and a bullish scenario. So in our bullish scenario, did we get what we were looking for here? Relatively low open interest. We did not get the help of relatively low open interest here. We did in this instance. We did here get the help of relatively low open interest, right? We did have positive outlook from CoTs. It's not extreme, but consistent at least. Doesn't always look pretty, I don't think, but when it works. Did we have WPR oversold? Yeah, we were down here. We were in the oversold territory. Getting a little bullish. We got some help from the open interest getting low. And we've got this market sentiment starting to increase too. So a lot like diminishing open interest, increasing market sentiment. Don't wait for it to be high. Wait for it to be low before we decide to get bullish. Declining or low relative market sentiment. Relatively low market sentiment. That is relatively low. That looks, almost bottoming to me. So we did get that support. So where are we now? Where are we now in the grand scheme of things? So now we're looking for another bullish scenario. Well, I mean, that time is coming past, but they continue to be extremely bullish on the Euro FX. So I'm thinking, buy some dips. Yeah, I mean, until proven otherwise, until we break this down. I think you can get in here. Don't take my. This is not financial advice. This is just my trade journal. So you are sitting here in the inner workings of whatever the hell is going on in my head here when it comes to this chart. So don't take this as advice. I mean, do your own diligence, do your own work. But here are some pretty good indicators. This is what I follow. This is what I like to look at. All right, break of the ATR. Extremely rising market sentiment from commercial interests. Extremely positive. Didn't get the help here from open interest. WPR is low. Diminishing market sentiment. That's when you get on board. That's when you think rally. You think rally when sentiment is low. You think rally when sentiment is low. Right? Let's clear that off. Let's look and see, where we are. Or where I was in the thought process. So again, back here, I mean, we talked about this. This third, fourth time here, we thought that this area was going to be a nice contested area to find support. And the bulls defended, and they defended handsomely. And you had plenty of places to get into this trade. Plenty of places to get into this trade. When you get this. You find support here in this cluster of price action I mean, how do you not take that as a buy signal? Get this nice cluster of resistance that we were into. We dip low, dip below this. Yeah, does this look like, trap territory? Like, oh, Euro FX is going down here. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not with our leading indicator of commercial interest. And did you look at market sentiment? I mean, it was just pretty. It just was rising quite consistently. Right now, the sentiment is at its lowest. I think what people think is going to go on here is that this is topping out. Well, is it? If you don't clear this high, I would be inclined to say that this might retrace a little bit. Well, we got to see something here, but I think you buy dips here. I think as bullish as commercial interest is on the Euro FX, I think this thing can really pick up here. And did this trend line, this silly trend line, come into play? Not so silly, right? Doesn't look so silly. Here's your highs you couldn't get over. We break it, we come back down, we retest, and we had a lot of brave bulls down here that took this the other way. Because it looked pretty nasty. I mean, you've got this, we've got this ascending, triangle look. We break this trend line just barely. Probably get some trap bears down here because they jumped the gun. And you get this ignition here because they say, oh shit, I'm going short with a stop above the highs here, this false high. Because I think it just barely cleared this. Maybe not. Maybe it double topped, but it looked pretty damn close. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe that's not what happened. That's definitely not what happened. I mean, you see a break of this trend line of these, these higher lows here, and you go, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna roll a dice. This is breaking. I'm gonna go short. I'm gonna put my stop up here. And you got screwed because they took it the other way. And then what do we have here? So the first two higher highs that we had, it's just about on that line. I'm not gonna fret over it, but just about, on that high here. We did not. I'm gonna undo that. You know why? Because we did not spend a lot of time in this range at all before it was broken down. And that should have, this here probably should have been a pretty good indicator that the market wanted to go lower because it didn't want to go higher. And they broke here. Ooh, they did break. Was that a trap? Did we get some long positions trapped up here? Because we thought it was going to go higher. So they get trapped up here with a stop below, whatever pivots you have here. And you got crushed. Was this one? I don't know. Would you put your stop here? Yeah, maybe. Not a very good pivot. But this looked like really good, right? Look at the confluence that's happening around this area. Right along this pivot where we possibly got some trap bears. 1, 2, broke it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, couldn't get over it. Finally got over it. Boom, flips as a support. That's 9 touches. Just about 10, 11, 12, 13 touches on this very important pivot right here. Wow. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does it make sense to me? It makes sense to me. Why so important? Well, maybe you want to defend this pivot, but it was lost anyway. So It was, I mean, it ran straight through on this, right? Or maybe you're a buyer here too, you know. So, anyways, very, very important pivot. And then we'll look for the swing. We'll look for a lower high here. Yep, we'll look for a lower high here. See if they can't, see if they can, see if they break this down, break this trend line down here. And can't get up over this high. And then maybe, you've got a case for, a top. But with commercials so bullish on this, I don't see this breaking down. So where are you buyer? Where are we a buyer here? We're gonna need to see something here. We're gonna need to see something right up against this support area, flipped resistance, trying to get through it. And come after these shorts here, come after this pivot, come after this pivot up here. I mean, here's your three areas to look at. Look left, right? We got to clear this out. We got to clear these 3 pivots out, and then break this damn trend line. I'm not all up on on trend lines here, but this has been a long downtrend, so it's a nice distant trend line that we're looking at. Let's see if we can look back a little further. Look in the 3-year. I mean, yeah, it's been getting crushed, right? Since back here, Can we get up over that? Yeah, man. I think we can. Absolutely. Give me some space. Give me some space to work with here. I mean, you gotta keep redrawing these because you just that might not suffice, and you might hit that trend line and go, shit, it's breaking it. But this is, we kind of free drew this, right? Trend lines are meant to be broken. It just gives you some idea of where you are. Because it doesn't have, drag it over it, okay, fine. There's some, you get trapped up there. You come down and we're just not getting over, this line here. And we finally do, and we come back and we retest it a little bit, and retest it again. We break it. They find support. We're on the other side of it. Got a little struggle going on right here on this trend line, and we finally break away from it. So, are we getting a little bit of momentum offset already? Back here. It sure looks like it, right? I think it's easier to see the momentum offset when you use the lows. I don't like to draw the lows from this side to the other in terms to of finding entries. But if you pay attention to that, sometimes you can see some offset. I feel like some momentum offset. You draw your your descending wedge or your descending triangle or something like that. But here's your, is the momentum offsetting a little bit here? You can clutter your chart with as many trend lines as you want, but I use them as just as reference points. I don't say, well, there is support or there isn't support there. Because you look back at the chart and you say, well, it pivoted here. Oh, this is a trend line because it pivoted here. But you didn't know that. You didn't know that previously. It wasn't available. Now it's available. Now you come back up and test this area again. And you say, okay, well, are there brave bears up in here? Or we're gonna short this when it breaks. So you get a 1-day break, and then the next day closes underneath it. So, are you a brave bull or a brave bear up here? I don't know. Come back up near it, and whatever. So they were probably thinking the same thing, here that they were thinking here. Are we brave enough? Because you don't have this side of the chart. All you got is this. This is all you got. You don't see the rest of this chart. You just see this trend line being broken and then possibly finding support on it. Close below it. But were you a brave bull here and said, I think this is going to break? And you got burned. And then what happened the next time when the trend line broke? Tested it, closed over it, found support. Were they brave enough? Were bulls brave enough? And were us, brave enough to take this long? Well, if they were, they found some support in this area, right up in here. So now we're looking at So why did we get on this tangent here? Boy, we went on a tear about trend lines and paying attention to all the noise that's going on, behind you. I think you do have to respect, these downtrend lines. But I think more importantly, you got to respect these pivots. Because will bears come in defense of these pivots? And will bulls jump on board when they see, support gained? Here's that, your closest support pivot, because it did, it pivoted off this, so this has got to be respected, right? This was respected here, couldn't close over it, 3 days running. Went bearish, came back up, retested, and away we went. So you pay attention to these lines, I would imagine, to see what's going on around them. I wouldn't blindly take. I don't think it's a good idea to blindly take trades along those. You could. If what's Bob Volman say? If you're a contrarian here and you want to, blindly take this one. Go ahead. I don't know. You want to take? Look at that candle. You want to blindly take a short right now? These boys did. Right up in here. They took a blind short, probably. You say, oh, well, here's this pivot. I'm going to short it because this is. I think the bears are going to step in. Maybe they did, but guess who had the upper hand? The dominance in this factor is the bullish intention coming up from this leg up. So they were ready to buy those dips, and if you shorted here, where's your stop? Up here? Well, guess what they're coming for? I'd be willing to bet they're coming up for this one. That's me. That's that's what I think, and what I think doesn't really fucking matter, because they could just bounce off this trend line again and continue down further. But for the meantime, for the immediate meantime, comms are really bullish on this. Well, we knew this back here. So if you haven't gotten in, maybe you wait for a pullback. But I'm Am I going to chase up here? It's possible. It's possible. We're gonna take a look at this. Oh, good God! I hate when I do that. Shit. I'll have to get that chart back up. Anyways, thanks for stopping in. That chart's gonna be a mess now. Because whenever you close windows, oh, you know what? I can just reload here. I can just reload. Yeah. Probably not gonna have any of my patterns on there, but that's okay. Start from ground. At least when you when you close these quick charts out, it saves your data, but when you come back in, it's a mess. You gotta reorganize everything and change your appearance settings and everything. I mean, everything's just gone. Everything in your chart settings is gone when you close it and you try to reopen and put it back together. Best thing to do is to save quite frequently your setup and just reload, because it makes for a longer day. So hopefully we've got some. All right, yeah. All right, save it. Did save it. Beautiful. Anyways, getting into this trade. Where are we getting in? You gotta see a little something going on here before we can decide. Pardon me. I have myself a coughing fit again. It's the dry air in Colorado. Anyways, let's see what this next week presents and see if we can get a nice pivot here. Because we've got two supporting swings right here. You know, your higher low here, and then are we going to get a higher low here? And then are we going to swing, and away we go. Take out this pivot, and then we'll know too. We swing down here, come up, take out this pivot, and then away we could go. So you're a buyer down here, or you're your buyer down here. All right. And I will say that seasonal rally does support, or the seasonal study does support a rally this time of year. We could rally up, maybe into May. Looks good up until into May. It's not horribly great, but they're bullish on it. And with the way the market is right now, I would not drop the ball here on this chart. I would definitely pay attention to it. Anyways, we are just burning through time from here. Thanks for stopping in. This is Paramay Trades. This is Paramay's Trade Journal. Good luck, and I hope you find yourself on the profitable side of the trade.